Morning, guys. As a teacher in America, and she had this great ability to work with children with difficulties, and she won Teacher of the Year many times, and she was incredible. And people always asked her, how do you do this? How do you motivate these children when no one else can? So there was a class in the school, and they actually called her the class from hell. It was full of all the degenerates or the terrible children in the school. So they decided to give that class to this teacher the one year to work with. And she was working with them for a few months, and she was getting terribly frustrated because she just wasn't getting anywhere, and they just weren't submitting their homework or finishing, the assignments they were given, and they were disruptive in class. So the headmaster went away in a conference, and she decided to sneak into his office, and she had a look at the files. So when she was looking through the files, she seen these numbers on there, and thinking it was their IQs, and there was 120s and 130s. In fact, one of the highest ones is 140s. And she thought, she's in a class here with incredibly gifted children who are just misunderstood and they're not being challenged. So she changed her whole way of teaching this class. And she started to make things far harder for them, and she started to put in more structure for them and make things harder for them to, get the conscious mind constantly thinking. And by the end of the year, as it happens, she has the class of the year. And the headmaster calls it and said, this is just incredible. How did you do that? Nobody wanted to touch this class, and yet you've taken these kids, and, they're all some of the best kids in the school. She said, well, to be honest with you, I have to tell you, when you were away, I came into your office and I looked at the files, and I noticed the IQ of the kids were very high. So I just changed the way I taught them, because I feel they were just misunderstood and they weren't being challenged enough and they were bored. So the headmaster looked at her and he smiled and he said, well, I've got to tell you, that's not the IQs. That was the locker numbers. The IQs are far lower. So it's a perception we have on someone and how we treat them, that everyone has treated them because of their low IQ scores and tried to teach them in that manner, and it obviously didn't work. And she had a different perception, believing they were highly intelligent children, and changed the structure, and all of a sudden incredible things happen. So when you look at a box, don't just think of it as a box. There's many things that could be in that box. Have a good day.